Hello, my name's Carl Clement. I run a company called Emotion Robotics and have been developing on the Now platform since 2010. Recently, there have been a lot of questions about integrating AI with Now, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to explain some of the approaches you can take and some of the issues you may find if you attempt to do this. Obviously, advances in artificial intelligence and LLMs have made it a very desirable system to integrate with mobile robots, and it also becomes a great platform to showcase artificial intelligence and large language models. Now provides a really good platform for this. It's approachable, it's easy to program through Choreograph, and it allows you to make artificial intelligence and large language models part of Now's capability. Plus the fact that as we see the advances in this area, we all really want to be able to chat with our robot and get meaningful, natural responses to our questions and the like. We also, though, have to consider the fact that Now has no screen or tablet, and most of these services are designed to present text that can be read. So we need to consider that in our implementation. There's nothing more boring than listening to Now or Pepper read through pages and pages of text. Keeping the responses short and concise really help to make this more approachable. However, there are some issues that we need to address. Now runs on some very out-of-date old technology. Currently, the Python level that's supported in Choreograph is 2.7. It runs on an old Gentoo Linux OS, and it has very dated supporting libraries. That leads to our biggest issue, which is the fact that the security layer, the secure sockets layer on Now, is very out of date and suffers from a number of known security issues. Subsequently, the level of SSL that Now has and can utilise directly is not supported by the majority of modern services. Theoretically, you could upgrade the SSL layer on Now. However, bearing in mind that we're talking about Python 2.7, you're going to hit the issue that you won't be able to get it up to a high enough level. Python 2.7 is now a deprecated product, and as such, the libraries and support isn't there for it. So we really need to think about how we can get Now to talk to these cloud services without it having to be a direct connection. Because if we try to make a direct connection to a cloud service like Dialogflow or ChatGPT, our request would be sent from Now. It would reach the cloud service that we wanted to interact with, and it would be rejected due to the inadequate security that in the request that Now's generated. So we'd never get a meaningful response. What we can do, however, is build a middle tier broking service. What this service would do is it would accept requests in the insecure format from Now, and it would then forward those requests securely to the cloud service. That cloud service would respond securely to the middle tier, and the middle tier would respond back to Now. So this middle tier is going to act as a broker for us, a forwarder if you like, for our request. And as I just described, Now would send that insecure request to the middle tier. The middle tier would repackage that insecure request with an appropriate security level that would be acceptable to the cloud service. The cloud service would then respond to that request back to the middle tier, and the middle tier would extract the important parts of that response and send them back to Now. That overcomes the issue of lack of appropriate security on Now, because Now can speak insecurely to the middle tier, and the middle tier can speak securely to the service. So our middle tier is going to have to implement a communications channel for Now. That could be something as simple as an HTTP REST interface. But it's also going to have to implement a full interface with all of the necessary security to the service that we wish to connect to. Again, whether that's ChatGPT or an Amazon service or Dialogflow or whatever. You can develop that middle tier in a number of languages. As we move forward with this, and in future videos, you'll see that I've actually used C#. That's purely because I have spent many years working on a Windows environment, developing in C#, and it's an easy way for me to build these REST interfaces. But you could develop it in Python. You could use Python and Flask. You could use any language that provides the correct security level. So for example, when we're using Python, we'd be looking to use Python 3, which obviously isn't supported on Now currently, but could be used for the middle tier as long as we have those requests being accepted from Now in the less secure format. We'd require whatever software we develop to run as a service or be a server, so that it can offer that communications channel to Now and through to the cloud service whenever it is needed, so 24/7. And obviously we're going to have to be able to handle any errors or lack of availability of the cloud service, so that Now will understand if the service isn't available. And finally, we need to think about where we're going to run this. We could run it locally on a local PC, on your laptop, on a Raspberry Pi, for example, on your local network. Or you could run it on a server hosted in a cloud environment. But there are some considerations you need to put into place here. We will be adding a delay to how quickly we get our response back from whatever AI service we're calling. If you think about it, if we are using a system that makes a direct call to that service, we do one round trip. We send our request to the cloud service sends us a response. Now that we've got the middle tier in the equation, Now is having one round trip to the middle tier, so it makes its request to the middle tier. The middle tier then initiates a second round trip where it talks to the cloud service, Dialogflow, ChatGPT, whatever it happens to be, and then that service responds to the middle tier. The middle tier has to then repackage whatever's going on with that response and send the important part back to Now. So rather than one round trip to the server, we've now got two round trips that are going on. Hosting the middle tier on a local network can help improve the performance, because obviously you'll have local network speeds between Now and the middle tier rather than being restricted by internet connectivity and cloud-based limitations. It also helps us a little bit with security if we run it locally, because obviously with a middle tier in the process, that has a potential to be attacked. And as all of our requests are going through it, security-wise, the less we expose that to the internet, the better. And a final consideration with all of this is you need to write efficient code in the middle tier. Anything that slows the middle tier down will add to the delay that Now has in getting a response. So, for example, if we have a lot of processing being done on the response before it's passed back to Now, that will delay how quickly we can send a response back. So you want to be writing fast, skinny, efficient code in your middle tier to aid those performance issues. I hope that's been helpful. I hope that it explains a little bit about the approach. In the next video, we'll actually look at an example of a Now robot utilizing dialogue flow and this middle tier approach, where Now will speak to the middle tier will speak to dialogue flow, and Now will get its response via the middle tier service. I look forward to seeing you on the next video, and again, hope this has been useful. Thank you.